back in, what, like 1992, so I don't do any, like, this is a disclaimer before I start the video. I have no idea what I'm talking about. If you take me seriously, you're an idiot. If you want an actual review of this game, go watch IGN or something, because they actually do it properly and don't use crabs. So I don't use any real, research. Research is the one. So I don't know if Resident Evil came out in 1967, I don't know if it came out in 1992, it could have come out 2 years ago and I wouldn't have been any freaking wiser, to be honest. So Resident Evil 8, it's pretty good. Yeah, I think it is. It's got a propeller man in it, so that's cool. He chops you. Who comes up with this, by the way? Resident Evil 8 is pretty good. It's a first-person game that does all sorts of stuff. And yeah, you know, so that made me expect that most of the other Resident Evil games were going to be good as well. The original Resident Evil subverts this expectation by being complete and utter dog shit. I don't know much about Resident Evil 8. I know that a bunch of people are playing it, a bunch of people hate it because of how long it is or something, and a bunch of people like the really old woman because, I don't know, Tumblr got to her or something. And I'm assuming that after, what, 25 years? I think it's the 25th anniversary or something like that. I heard someone say that. I'm assuming after 25 years they gave us more to go on than, oh look, there's 2 guard dog statues, which fucking direction do they go in? Resident Evil, I'm sure it's fantastic. I'm sure that it's great. But I'm also sure that I have the attention span of a goddamn sponge cake, so if you attempt to get me to do this puzzle by going all the way back up the frickin' thing and looking for the elevator for 742 minutes, I actually timed it. It's a problem. I don't know, what am I on about? But ignore me, just stop. Click off the video, stop watching, stop doing it. So, for those of you unfamiliar, I do playthroughs sometimes. And for some ungodly reason, I decided, hey, you know what I should do? Play Resident Evil. That was the worst mistake I've ever made in my entire life. For one, the camera angles can bite my absolute ass. I can't see anything about what's going on. You can't see what's going on either. So not only can I not record it because I'm too retarded and can't get through the freaking obstacle, but you can't even view the video because the camera is so far away from Jill that you can't even tell what's going on. Resident Evil 3.827. Resident Evil 3. Oh, I was right. I was like, which one was 3? And then I remembered. So there's Resident Evil 1, Die. Resident Evil 2, also Die, but the remake is good. 3, original, really good. 3, remake, Die. 4, never really liked 4, but everyone else did, and I'm assuming they're smarter than me, so that gets a pass 2. 5, 6, and 7. Okay, 7's actually pretty good, you know? So they did 2 wrong, they did 2 right. Let's go. 7 and 8 win. So for Resident Evil 9, what I'd like you to do is do the exact opposite of what you did for 1. So the puzzles, I get that the puzzles are puzzles, but for a man who, you know, actually plays games and wants to complete the games, it's an absolute freaking clusterfuck. It is awful. So, Barry, you can get a shotgun, right? You can get a shotgun and you can pick it up from, like, this area, and then you go outside and the roof starts collapsing on you. First of all, how? Second of all, Barry comes and rescues you, but none of you've seen him and he's given you acid rounds. For some reason. I don't... That tricked Big Body Meta. He got freaking owned by this at some point, so I'm not sure what's going on. But yeah, so it's very confusing, because if a man who literally absorbs Resident Evil through his bloodstream can't figure this shit out, how am I supposed to do it, is what I'm saying. The enemies are okay, actually. They come back if you don't burn them, which sucks, because you can only hold 2 things of gasoline. I mean, hold on a minute, humans are inherently flammable, and so are their clothes. Just light a match near them. Or I've got a better plan, Jill. Pick up the bodies, put all the bodies in a big pile, burn the entire mansion down. So you've got to find keys to get into new rooms, right? Sledgehammer? Question mark? In Resident Evil 2, it's explained that you want to get out of this thing that you're in, but you can't go through the main entrance. Resident Evil 1, you go inside because there's dogs outside, but 2 seconds in you get a grenade launcher. I just wander out and be like, I get that it's... is it raining outside, or is it not raining outside in Resident Evil 1? I can't remember. Either way, I'm just going to set fire to the entire forest. So Eddie? Oh, what's his name? Jeff. Sure, let's go with Jeff. He's flying around in a helicopter trying to get our attention. I'd just go outside and set fire to the entire forest. I'd be like, hey dude, do you know where I am yet? When I've set fire to half of the Arizona desert? I mean, to be fair, it's a big area, so Wesker, who's just evil all the time, for some ungodly reason, he just wanders off. 2 seconds in, he's like, nope. So why does he have a key to everything? And then Barry leaves, and so Barry's like, oh, I'm just gonna go to the dining room, and then fucking disappears. He appears and disappears randomly for no real reason. So if you pass out from poison, like if you get bitten by the big snake, you pass out from poison and Barry comes and puts you in the infirmary. Why is he anywhere near you? Isn't the whole point of Barry to, like, sit there and do Wesker's bidding or something? Barry's very confusing, and sometimes he comes in with a flamethrower and sets fire to the big evil plant, but I didn't do that because I didn't actually... I fought the plant normally because I didn't know that you could not do that. So, whoops. And if you do that, he comes in with a flamethrower and he burns the plant to death. First of all, Barry, where'd you get a flamethrower? Second of all, where does it go? So he uses his revolver, which is pretty good, and just the flamethrower. Like, that's it. That's the only 2 guns he comes up with, I'm pretty sure. So why does he have a flamethrower? Barry, where did you get that? Also, why do you keep coming up with cans of fizz? He drops you items, which is pretty cool, but I'm pretty sure he only does that in, like, the lower settings. In higher settings, he doesn't do that, which is just rude. So he's in higher difficulty settings, he's just nope. Also, you have the option to give him his gun back when he obviously betrayed you, and if you don't give him his gun back, like, I don't know, anyone would, he gets bitch slapped off the world. Like, he reaches for his gun and Lisa, or whatever her name is, just fucking goes, yee, and just sends him into orbit, which is pretty funny. Seriously, he's dead now. Like, he doesn't come back. All the cutscenes change. There's no Barry. And then Wesker releases the evil, or something. In fact, before I talk about Wesker releasing the evil, let's talk about the Hunters. Because the Hunters are bullshit. So the Hunters, or at least are they hunters? I think they're hunters, right? I'm pretty sure they're hunters. They do that thing from Resident Evil 3 where they give you 2 seconds of notice and then they're like, ha, surprise, and then they one-shot you and rip your head off. Who designed this? We've got like 3 different, in fact, so we've got, what, 3, 4 different variants of enemies by the end of the game. So you got birds, you got dogs, you got zombies, you got hunters, you got those weird bug things. You got the sharks, you got this abomination, whatever the hell that thing is. So immediately after having zombies as the only enemies in the game, you release the Death Hound, essentially, which is just the, oh look, it's already killed you. So, you know, thanks for just murdering me for no bloody reason. So the puzzles in Resident Evil 1, they're a bit too complicated for me. The story is definitely too complicated for me. In my personal opinion, you should burn the entire house to the ground, and then use a sledgehammer to bash through all the doors because I have more than 3 IQ. So there's these flimsy looking metal doors with like seals on them, so you can't get through them. Like, oh, I'll just spend the entire game doing that. No, I'll use this freaking shovel that I found and just go bonk with it. Whatever happened to using crowbars, dude? Whatever happened to Gordon Freeman, not Gordon Ramsay. Oh, poor Ramsey. Just going up, wedging your crowbar in there and be like, yeet, and sending the crowbar into orbit through the door and taking the door with it. So then you get to the place with Wesker, and Wesker releases the enemy team, and and he's like the first Boots, but he's not nearly as cool as the actual Boots, because the actual Boots has a hat and also a trench coat. Which, fun fact about Boots, his trench coat, you kill him the same way you kill Boots. You fire a goddamn rocket into his nose. But the cool thing about Boots is that his coat, because like when the pipes explode around Boots, his coat falls off his chest and just becomes around his legs. And if you notice, when you fire a rocket at Boots at the very end of the game, his trench coat is still completely intact, which means that if he was wearing his trench coat, that rocket actually wouldn't have done anything to him. So yeah, that's quite cool. So you shoot the dude like twice and he falls over. Wesker dies, even though he doesn't die, even though he's got no blood, and somehow wanders with his no leg up to the emergency destruction thing. So he basically, Wesker has been stabbed straight through the nose, bitch slapped and shot by a 34 In fact, so what is it? It's a 34 Magnum, right? So let me just assume that, I'm pretty sure it's a 44 Magnum. Let me have a look. So there's Barry's gun. Yeah, so that thing would take down a tank, and he shoots Wesker twice and he's not dead, but that's fine. And then he falls over, and then Barry or someone throws a rocket launcher at you, even though he's in a helicopter, so how do you do that? And then you fire a rocket launcher at him and he dies. And that's the end of the game, but you can play Chris's version as well, yay.